should you be adding novellas into your author writing plan? Let's break down what you need to know to make the best decision for you, because this, of course, can be different for everybody, but we're going to give you the pros and the cons so that you can make those choices. Now, novellas are short stories. These are not full-length novels, but they tell a completed story. And you can do them individually as standalones. You can do them in short series. You can do them in longer series. There's a lot that you can do with novellas as their own individual entities. You can also use novellas to bolster the series that you have created. So I have done a lot of different things with novellas. I love a good short story or a shorter story. And I have used them as standalones, just stories I wanted to tell that did not need to be a full-length novel. I have used them in tandem with the series that I've created, usually as a prequel novella or like a bonus novella from a different character's perspective, so connected to a series or individual standalones. I've also made an entire series out of my novellas where it's a series of short stories that form one great big long story. There's a lot that you can do with it. So novellas are really helpful for a lot of reasons, but there are some cons. Okay, so with novellas, you're not writing a super long story, so it takes less time to produce. It takes less time to consume. If somebody has a short period of time to read a book, maybe in between books, that's going to be really helpful. Sometimes that's a really good palate cleanser for them. Sometimes it's a good way to check out an author before you commit to an entire long series. There's a lot of value to writing novellas. It really benefits in a lot of ways. However, novellas should not be used as all you do, because most readers will get really upset if you do not have full-length novels. They will be very, very critical. They will not even pick up your books. They may not even consider you an author, because sadly, people think certain lengths dictate whether or not you're an author. So I very much love using novellas, but I do not recommend novellas as the only thing you do or as the very first thing you do. If a novella is your debut, that's really not going to work to your benefit. I highly recommend having a full-length novel as your debut. Then from there, you can work these into your schedule as much or as little as you want. You can tie them to your series. You can use them as standalones. You can use them as like really great incentives to do things like sign up for your newsletter or to buy something cheap and easy at your book signings. Novellas actually work really well at book signings because people come with a set amount of money and they go to their favorite authors first. And by the time they get through buying the stuff that they really, really wanted, they only have a few dollars left. So if they can spend $4 or $5 on a novella instead of $13 on a novel, they might be able to do that without having to wait to buy yours later on. So novellas can really work in your favor. You can do a lot with novellas. We talk about novellas a lot here on the channel because I think they're very beneficial to authors, but you have to be smart about the strategy that you're using them in. So always, always, always have a full-length novel as your debut. Do not come into this industry with a novella as your debut. That said, I have had friends that have done it. I have helped people to do it because they asked me to, but it is not what I advise them to do. And I don't think I've really seen anybody where that has worked very well for. So I do recommend having a full-length novel first to make sure that you have that groundwork. People see you as a qualified entity in this industry and they aren't biased against you, and then pulling your novellas. And you, again, can choose to do them as a standalone series, or connected to the series that you are already creating. There's a lot that you can do with this, and it's really fun because it takes less time to write it. You can tell a full-length story, you can add in new characters, you can bring in new things. If you have a fun idea that just you don't want it to take forever for you to write, you can write these novellas to keep yourself going. And these are also really nice things that you can do in between your novels. So if you don't want to invest your time in a full-length novel or a full-length series right now, but you've got a little bit of time to write, this is going to be really advantageous to you. I love novellas, and I love novellas in a writing structure and a strategy, but you have to be strategic about it or it can backfire very greatly. So making the effort to create novellas does work to your benefit. It is helpful. We see it in traditional publishing. We see it in indie publishing. We see them doing really great things, and there's a lot of financial benefit and time benefit to the authors and to the readers for this as well. Like I said, you can really use this strongly in your marketing to get people to test out your books without having to invest into something longer. It's a valuable way to implement this into your writing, to save yourself time and effort, to make more money, and to be more aligned with the community. And you can test things out too. You can try different styles of writing, different types of things to see how your audience responds to it without dedicating an entire novel to it. So you want to make sure that you are spending a lot of time and effort thinking about this before you put it into your writing career, and then don't use it as the very first thing you do. Try things out. This is actually really great. learning too. If you write novellas first, that is fine. You can absolutely do that. By all means, do that. Save it and publish them later on. You don't have to publish in the order that you write. There's a lot that goes on with this. So drop your questions on novellas down below. I'm a big proponent of it when done well, when done right, but you gotta be strategic about how you are going to do this. I have tons of novellas. Some of them are free for you on all the major platforms that you can be checking out. We're also gonna be talking a little bit about novelettes in some of our upcoming videos. So drop your questions down below and follow along for daily videos helping you navigate the world of publishing from your writing to your publishing to your marketing to make this your most profitable year ever. We're going to talk a little bit more about my series, the Holiday Court series, which is a short novella series. We're going to talk about some of my standalones like Virtually Sleeping Beauty. We're going to talk a little bit about how I've written things that go with my series, especially my Golden Trilogy. I've done a lot of work with prequel novellas there. And so you've got a lot that you can draw from with those questions, and we'll see you in those upcoming episodes getting those questions answered.